Yes, we are live. Good morning, viewers. And here is Niyati Shah. And we are with you on a topic which is very, very unusual. Many of you even wrote to me, oh, it's so surprising that you're talking about this because we didn't imagine, Girijaa D, that you will talk about this. But yes, the scope is very, very limitless. The scope of whatever topic we have taken, that is freedom from addictions. We have today Niyati Shah, an expert who is a very enthusiastic, passionate, and renowned sexuality educator, counselor, author, and an intimacy coach who believes in educating children and adults, of course, because they were not educated at the time and they should be. So, on sex education, so they know themselves, their own needs, empowering them so that they can take informed decisions and eradicating hesitation and taboo around sexuality. She's a mother of two children, wife of a very supportive husband, and daughter of very liberal, loving parents. In the past 12 years of her career, just hold your breath and listen. She has visited about 65 schools, conducted more than 450 workshops, touched more than 18,000 families. Imagine, multiplied minimum by four. Trained 175 teachers. They are the people who touch the core of young people, and it is so beautiful that she was able to reach out to them, because very often we find that teachers are not willing to go beyond the curriculum. So to be able to motivate them and to make them understand that this is a very essential part of grooming the children is something amazing, Niyati. And she has certified 10 sex educators. She has empowered 70,000 plus children. She helps parents and teachers talk about sexuality to their children. I know most of the people don't know how to talk about it. And she helps them talk about it without feeling awkward and without any prior knowledge, with ease, through her online course and books. She is certified in sex education, the Robert Kakoff model of personal counseling, metaphor therapy, graphology, basic transactional analysis, and international train the trainer program. Niyati is a music lover and a dance enthusiast. She finds peace in gardening and finds a creative self in everything she does. Welcome, Niyati, for this particular program. And viewers, give her a big round of applause for joining us today. Before
Thank you.
go further, Niyati, I just want to introduce you to the genesis of this program. We were just talking about it. The whole freedom from addictions movement started when Sushant Singh Rajput was murdered suddenly on June 14, 2020. First, everybody thought it is suicide, then came about stories of depression, then came about stories that he was having drugs, and then so many people began to come out and speak. No, he was very much with us. He never used to take drugs. He was so active. He was doing exercises. He was a very positive person. He loved adventure. He was very spiritual. He used to worship Shiva. He knew this, he knew that. He used to read these books, so many things. People, it is a world of information, knowledge, and power that we understand when we read about Sushant Singh Rajput. So that is when people understood that he was far beyond an actor. He was much more than an actor, a very wonderful human being, somebody who had a lot of creativity, imagination, plus a scientific spirit, who had a vision for India, who had vision for the youth, and he was cut off, as it were, suddenly. So this came as a root shock, and many people do have evidences, but nobody is willing to listen. So we are waiting for justice to happen, but at the same time, continuously the movement is happening. At this point of time, the awareness came that a lot of young people, without their knowledge, are being given drugs and then slowly introduced to drugs, and then they are being gaslighted. They are getting into different kinds of issues. That is when we thought we should create awareness about addiction to various substances as well as habits. So we did some sessions on drug addiction, nicotine, tobacco, alcohol, all these kinds of things. And then last time we had on shopping addiction, and today you are here with us to talk about sex addiction. Now, Niyati, India is the land of Kama Sutra and Khajuraho. Here, art, culture, religion, life, everything depicted lovemaking as a very sensual act. There was nothing abnormal about it, there was nothing awkward about it in the ancient days. So it was never considered a sin, also. However, over the years, what was considered as something very natural and healthy expression began to be viewed as an aberration. People began to be scared to talk about it. So, can you share how this change in perception about sex came about?
So, very interestingly, so before anything else, before I answer that question, thank you so much for having me on this platform. Because as educators and counselors and authors, the only intention we have is to reach out to as many people as we can. So, every platform I go to, there's one more person, one more family that is listening to it, and maybe somewhere this session is kind of helping them. So, thank you so much for having me here. Now, very interestingly, for a long time, we did believe that, as you said, we are from a land of Kama Sutra. We do, sex and sexuality was natural to us. We've studied it
In other words,
as,
yes. As you said,
sorry,
yeah.
could you hear me?
You, I heard up to as you said.
Yeah, so as you said, that we are people from the land of Kama Sutra.
Mm.
Kama Sutra is basically studying a human and his sexuality, his or her sexuality through art and science. Of course, there's commerce involved and there's everything else. It's a holistic subject because this is not just something like a 3 minute act. It has
Absolutely.
a lot of faces and a lot of nature and a lot of attitude in different people, in different scenarios, in different. So there's so much about sex and sexuality that we were taken away from. It's
Absolutely.
our people, our ancestors who studied this, who understood that this knowledge needs to be passed on. They
Yes.
wrote books, they have sculptures, they have, I think in every form, this was passed on. Like, what is the art of seduction? What is the art of making love? What is the art of two people being together? So, from the animal instincts of having sex, we evolved, not evaluated, we evolved into being these human beings
Yeah.
with brains who understood a lot more deeper meaning to these two
Yeah.
people coming together for pleasure or for procreation. And there's a
Absolutely.
higher intent to it.
Right.
So when very lately, in this, I think it was October 22, when I visited
Khajuraho.
Khajuraho. I couldn't believe I couldn't get the name
Yeah, I
Khajuraho,
saw
and
your
people
pictures on the Facebook, and
exactly. So
very
people who
nicely you
follow me
described it.
know
Yes.
people who follow me know that I visited there. So, but it was such a shock to go there and to see what Khajuraho actually stands for.
Absolutely.
And that's where I got another angle. Like, how much ever you study about the subject, there's always something new that you find out. So, Khajuraho basically, people feel, oh, your topic, you've gone there to see all the sculptures and all of it must be erotic and, it's going to be so raunchy. It's not like that. I think your question, my answer is based on this question where Khajuraho was built to tell people. So, in that era, when Ashoka's era, Jainism and Buddhism was promoted highly. I'm a Jain myself. So
Okay.
Jainism and Buddhism was literally promoted in a way, if I have to say it, that
Yeah.
this is the religion you have to follow, these are the practices you have to follow. And in all the religions, they ask you to go through certain phases.
Right.
But a lot of people do get blindsided and don't understand the whole learning, but
Exactly.
start jumping into becoming monks at a very early age. So
Yes.
King Ashoka somewhere figured out that this is not what we want. We
Yes.
want the nature to take its course. We want you to experience life, and then
Yeah.
slow and steady as wisdom, you attain wisdom, you attain all the other phases of life. Khajuraho is basically was built to let the general public understand that there is a phase you have to go through, which is having a family,
Absolutely.
going through your sexual being and having your sexual experiences. So trust me when I say this, erotic structures are not even 10% of all the other structures that we see there. It
Okay.
was basically to say, have a family. Women
Yes.
are beautiful. Women are our equals. A
Yeah.
man and a woman can come together. And yes, there are sculptures where we do speak about homosexuality, beastism, but those are very limited structures. Maybe like
Yes.
a one or a two structure out of all the temples that are there in Khajuraho. Khajuraho is
Yeah.
not just one temple,
Mm.
multiple temples. So, what
Okay.
I mean to say is, we coming from a land who studied sex and sexuality, it was taken away from us by different people at different times of life, whether
Yeah.
it was religion, whether it was Mughals who brought in their own culture, or whether it was the British who
Yeah.
finally took it away from us, where they said sex is a taboo, women are objects, use them in a certain way. You are the one who is going to dictate, your sexual life, like the men, the patriarchy, the shame, all of it came together for us. So the people who taught us to be okay and pioneer the art of making love were taken away from their own ancestors' learnings and teachings and understandings. So, yeah, it is a sad scenario, but this is how we actually lost touch and we started
Yes.
taking other
Uh,
people's culture
yeah.
and taking it into our lives rather than understanding we actually are the people who should be teaching the world what
Absolutely.
sexuality is all about.
Yes. But others came and told us, you don't know anything, and this is what it is. And we do not know how, whatever the circumstances, we accepted. And it went on for years. So
Yes.
today, what was considered earlier as a very healthy habit or a natural process in people, right now, it is beginning to be, it has become sort of an addiction, because probably when something is hidden from you for a long time or taken away from you for a long time and there is exposure, there is the possibility that people become obsessed with it and addicted with it. And then there is the physical aspect of it, there are the hormonal aspects of it, because of which people become addicted. So how do you differentiate between a healthy sex drive and an addiction?
So, like any other addiction, Girija, anything that takes you away from your normal routine is addiction.
Yeah.
Something that you constantly crave for and
Yeah.
you cannot do without it is addiction. If you start having physical, mental, emotional, spiritual withdrawing symptoms, withdrawals,
Yeah.
wherein you're acting differently if you don't get it,
Yes.
right? That is
Correct.
addiction. So
You
these
become
are the
violent,
symptoms.
you become angry, become depressed, you don't feel
So
like
many different
concentrating on
things.
your work, you don't interact with people,
Absolutely.
you become destructive. A lot of things happen. I agree. So
Exactly.
either there is behavioral difference, and you can feel from inside that there is a mood difference, and
Yes.
your heart, the hormonal level, something is working at you, and you are not able to control that, and that is affecting your other areas of life, and in spite of that the mind is craving for it.
So I think it also has to do a lot about the voids in one's life. So, if
Okay.
you really understand sexuality, the
Yeah.
sexual energy, if I have to speak about
Mm.
Girija, so alcohol is man made, okay?
Yeah.
Drugs are man made. We've given them something that relaxes them, that fills that void where they
Right.
don't care about what's happening to them. They're taken away from their negativity that they are going through. Something is filling back in.
Yeah.
Sex was that natural ingredient that was given to us, the sexual energy that we have. So,
Yeah.
whenever we lose something, or we are craving for something, or we feel unloved, or we are coping with something, we're healing from something, the sexual energy actually allows you to gain it from having that relationship. So
Absolutely.
whether your partner has expired or you've lost somebody in your family, somebody
I
very
was
close
just
to
about
you,
to tell you that. Yes.
it
Yes.
is a very common behavior that we see, that those people who want to cope from this loss of love
Yeah.
do turn towards sexual behavior. They want to have more sex. They want to continuously want to fill in that void with this sexual energy and sharing it with somebody. That time there is no understanding of whether it is right or wrong. Should I do it, not do it? But it is just about I need it to cope with what I'm going through, within. So
I have
sexual,
a friend now in this context. I have a friend who lost her first child in an accident. She was absolutely very shocked and everything. And then within a year, she conceived. Then she
hmm,
was feeling so guilty about it. She would
yeah,
cry and cry, and then she'd say, "What did I
yeah,
do? How we both of us did? We don't feel like looking at each other." I said, "But
yeah,
why? Yeah, both the husband and wife were going through so much guilt." So I was telling them, go to a doctor. It is not
yeah,
unusual. It's nothing wrong. It is between you. You are expressing your love in different ways. This is what happened. So it is very difficult for people to
it
cope
is
and
difficult. It is
accept.
difficult. So
Yes.
naturally, we are blessed with this energy that can help you heal, that can help you be creative, that
Yeah.
can help you be more confident. So imagine, so before I take another branch to what we are talking, hormonal is just something that we usually blame things on. It's hormonal changes. It's all hormones to do about. Hormones is not just sexual. Hormones is a complete package where emotions are taken care of, right? So if you're feeling lonely, you will do things that will make you feel more content, more
Very,
loved.
yeah.
So you either start eating a lot, there's a lot of eating disorders, there is a lot of sleeping disorders. So similarly, sexual energy was given to you naturally to cope with these kind of circumstances.
Yeah.
Addiction comes when you don't drop it when you need to drop it. You
Exactly.
continue being in that state, you continue wanting it because you just are not in, it's not just enough. You
Yeah.
just want it and want it and want it.
There is a
So more than
vacuum in the
hormonal,
system. You are not able to fill it. So there is a
yeah,
continuous.
more than hormonal, yes. So
Yeah.
more than hormonal, it is mental and an emotional imbalance that you're going through, which that you're trying to fill in through sexual activities. So whether it is masturbation which is on a high,
Yeah.
watching pornography is convenience.
Yeah.
The internet and the devices are given to you in your hand. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to make data free. Nobody wants to put in any kind of filters to see what kind of content you're watching.
Yeah.
There's lack of education where people don't know how pornography is affecting their life,
Yeah. Exactly.
and all of this
You're just
becomes your
seeing, right?
trigger.
You're just seeing. How does it affect?
Exactly.
That's what they
Exactly. So all this becomes a trigger,
Mm,
and then you start getting so addicted to this feeling good factor. All
exactly.
of us want to feel good at the end of the day. Why do we keep continuously eat ice creams or chocolates and desserts and sugar? Basically, we want to feel good. So yes, at the end of it, it is the hormones. We
Yes.
want those happy hormones to release in our system, this
Yeah.
way or that way. So
Absolutely.
sex is something where it releases multiple hormones, the feeling good factor hormones, the bonding for hormones, the trusting hormones. There are multiple hormones that are released just
Oh,
so that you feel good about it, about life,
yes.
about yourself. And
Yeah.
when you don't know where to stop
Yeah.
and
You
you
feel.
continue doing that, and slowly it starts seeping into your life, whether it is sugar, whether it is alcohol, whether it is drugs, whether it is sex, whether it is
Yeah.
anything that takes you away from living a routine, a normal life,
Yeah.
anything that you start craving and having withdrawal symptoms
Yeah.
is addiction. So, sex addiction is also something that you're trying to fill in.
Yeah.
There is some void in your life you're
Yeah.
trying to fill in. You want to feel good. Of course, there are physical aspects also,
But
physical
it is like
reasons also.
it's like a huge bucket with a hole, and then you're filling it with water, and it just keeps filling and filling and filling.
Absolutely. And it's never enough. Okay, I think I've lost you, Girija. I don't know if you can hear me, but
Just yes, in between it is happening, but you
yeah,
continue. The StreamYard takes care of it and fixes it.
perfect.
So don't worry about it. Yeah. So now, when we are talking about addiction, how does a person become aware? Like people ask me because they see movies, they see television, and there is so much talked about sex that they begin to feel, oh, looking at that couple, I'm not having enough, or my husband doesn't do express this kind of love to me anymore. We are 40, and why that person even at 60 is doing. So there is a lot of comparison that is going on, a lot of inadequacy, feeling of inadequacy that is going on, and people begin to feel that you must do it so many times in a week. So many people are talking like that, and so when it doesn't happen, they feel inadequate. So
Yeah.
how does a person realize that what is too much, what is proper? When he's addicted, how does he realize that? Because
So
there is
most
every
of the
person's appetite is different, right?
Yes, exactly, exactly. That's where I was coming to.
Yeah.
Most of my clients who come with the addiction issues, and the first question after taking the normal history that we take from our clients, my
Mm.
first question is, what makes you feel that you're addicted? Well, if it's pornography, I'm addicted to porn. How
Yeah.
many times do you watch porn? Right? One, I don't advocate to watch porn at all.
At
That's a
all.
different
Absolutely. Yeah.
that's a different topic on a different day. But don't watch porn at all. You don't need it. You have a
Absolutely.
beautiful creative mind that can make porn on its own with the
Yes.
partner that you have. Use this. I would
Yes.
always say that. But
Absolutely.
having the convenience of some ready-made content which people the industry is taking care of, porn industry, so people think, and there's a lot of coverage through media, whether it is the influencers or the educators or
Yeah.
the articles that are being printed.
Yeah.
Everything has to have 5 ways to lose addiction,
Mm.
5 ways to gain a better sex life, 7 ways to do this, 21 ways to do this. These are the articles which somewhere tell that you're addicted because you're watching porn every day. You may be watching porn every day, but if you don't get it for 4 days in between, it doesn't affect you. You're like absolutely okay with it, then you're not addicted to it. If you're not watching it, maybe you're watching it every week. But if
Mm.
you have to watch it every week, it's a
Yeah.
Sunday and I have to watch it,
Yeah.
nothing can stop me from doing that. That's addiction. So it's not the number
Absolutely.
of times you're watching it,
Yeah.
it's actually how
What
compulsive it
occasions?
is.
Yeah. A person says his father is admitted in the hospital, and he is sitting in the bathroom and watching it because he's the doctor's time is there. Father's saying, I need a bedpan, nurse is not coming, but he is in the bathroom, and the wife gets so angry. Why is he sitting in the bathroom for so many long hours?
Okay,
After
so
that,
there are
he
multiple reasons why men specifically sit in the bathrooms for long hours. But in general, we are talking about, yes, if it is taking you away from your routine,
yeah,
and so it's not the number of times. Of course, if
exactly.
somebody says I have to watch it 3 times a day, I am concerned. I'm definitely concerned if you have to watch pornography 3 times a day. But at the end of it, if you can just drop it at the, like at the snap of the finger, then
Yeah.
it's not a problem. But if you're not able to stop,
Yes.
then you need help. That's where you realize some people come with lot of different notions. I am watching porn like every week. I need help. If they feel they need help, then they need help.
Yeah.
Period. I'm
Absolutely.
nobody to tell them that it's okay to
Oh,
watch
that's
once a
okay.
week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
will never say that as a counselor, that
Yeah.
it's okay to watch once a week. It's not addiction. If he feels it's an addiction or if she feels it's an addiction to them. They know they cannot get out of it. That's
Yeah,
why they're
because
seeking help.
absolutely, because for him, he doesn't want to do it, and then he is doing it.
Yes,
So the moment he
exactly.
realizes that it is beyond his control, how much
And
is
I
doesn't matter, but it is beyond his control,
exactly,
and he is compelled to watch it. So absolutely, you are right. So it
yeah,
is not about how much that he consumes, how often he
it's how it's
consumes, but what
affecting
is the
them.
feeling with which he is watching it. He is not.
Yeah.
He is feeling guilty after that, right? So and he's not able to stop himself from doing that, himself or
I
herself.
think it's mostly about addiction is about not being able to stop on your own, and it's
Exactly.
affecting your routine life. No matter what you're doing in between works, you will have to use the washroom. You want to masturbate, you want to watch porn. I have a 17-year-old right now who I am counseling, and he's like, I have to watch it in the morning when I wake up. So these are the kind of most of the people have a habit of watching pornography before sleeping. It's like a habit.
Yes.
It's like, it's okay. I'm brushing my teeth. I need to watch porn. I need to ejaculate, and then I'm sleeping. I'm
Yeah.
saying ejaculate because most of these cases are with men. Women are not still coming out and saying they are addicted, but
Yeah.
we do know men and women both are masturbating,
Yeah.
both are watching pornography. The watching pornography is on a high, any which ways, it's increasing in today's times. So it's
Mm.
not about the gender or the sex. It's
Yeah.
about any person who's going through this. knows that I'm not able to stop, and that's just
I
crying for help.
also happen to, like you said, you a person has to watch it before going to bed. So I
Yeah.
know of a couple where the wife used to say that now he's no more. So she's no more. She used to say that my husband every day watches porn, and for hours he's watching. I'm next to him. I'm waiting for him to turn to me, talk with me. Very beautiful woman, but she says that he's simply never happy, never satisfied. So sometimes it comes out through the talk because he's all the time watching that, and then after that he goes to sleep. So she sees him masturbating, and then she says that there are times when I ask him, and he says, "No, you don't have that hourglass figure. You don't look like this." So she began to feel so inadequate. She went for breast augmentation surgery at a great pain and so much cost, and she says that she was not happy. She was not satisfied. She was
Okay, I think I've lost you again. I can't hear you at all.
woman was
Okay.
feeling, yeah. So the woman, she did a breast augmentation surgery, and then she felt that she was not herself. She didn't like herself, but she thought, okay, if it is okay and he's going to feel good about it. No, but he didn't feel good about it. Then he started looking at something else. He said, your eyes could have been bigger." It never ended. So that is when she realized, I shouldn't have done it. But then it was too late. And then all the time, looking at herself through his eyes, she felt that she was not enough. So it spoiled their life totally. Such a beautiful, very positive attitude, woman with such positive attitude, very hardworking.
I think,
And because of his addiction, all her focus shifted from bringing up her children and everything. And she was so horrified about what is happening with herself. She was feeling self pity. She went through hell. That's what I would say.
yeah, but I think we have a huge misconception that if somebody is watching pornography and not paying attention to their spouse, it's because they're addicted to pornography. It may not be
It may
as
not be.
simple as, yeah. So
Yeah,
it could
but he
be
said
just
it
because,
so in that case because he told her that I'm not happy with the person that you are. That is why I'm watching.
exactly. So we are not educated enough to know how to see sex between two people. It's the society saying you are not beautiful if your figure is not these measurements. You're not
Exactly.
beautiful if you're not using these creams. You're not beautiful if your lips are not luscious. You're not beautiful if your hair is not soft. So there are so many different definitions for a woman. So
Yeah,
I don't think every time when a husband, particularly this case that you're discussing, that's why I'm saying husband and wife, but
yeah,
whenever a spouse is not happy with the other spouse, it may not be just because of addiction. There are so many, like million reasons I can point out that there are so many things, but the main cause that they don't look at one another and look away is because they don't communicate. Talking about sex is such a taboo in our culture and
in
our society.
relationship. Yeah,
Yeah, so if we have trouble, we should be able to at least speak to our spouse. And if we can't do that, that's such a sad scenario. So I think addiction is way different than all the other issues that a married couple faces because of sex. But
yeah.
yes, addiction could be one of the reasons that a couple is not happy. But because somebody is not
No,
interested in their
it could
spouse
be
is
like
not
people say they are not happy, that is why he's addicted. And then they say they are addicted, that is why they are not happy. But sometimes it may not be both. It is not because
there's a
instead
there's
of
a
a
million
husband is
things in
addicted, that
between.
doesn't
There
mean
are a
that the wife
million
is
things.
not as satisfying, that is why he's addicted. It's not like that. Or if a wife gets addicted, that doesn't mean because the husband doesn't pay attention to her, that is why
It could,
she's doing it. You can't
as
say.
simple as Girija, it could not be addiction at all.
Yeah,
It's just a distraction or a diversion or something else that human being is using
yeah,
to just feel relaxed. It could not be
absolutely.
addiction at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one thing. So how does a person realize that I'm getting addicted? You, as you said, that is when he's not able to focus on his daily routine life, when he's so obsessed with whatever he's doing, and when he's not happy not doing it. That is when he or she realizes that, right?
No,
So,
they also feel that they're addicted because of all the information that is shared on the internet or maybe somebody else told them that looks like you're addicted, looks like you're addicted, looks like you're addicted. So sometimes it's other people telling them, sometimes it's all this information that they are exposed to on internet. Sometimes
Right.
they feel because they just can't stop. So there
Yeah.
could be multiple reasons why they feel they are addicted, but
Yeah.
we have to really gauge and really
Find
get
out.
into the history to actually know whether they are addicted or not. And you have to
Exactly.
go through that session, to really figure it out and then tell them that, listen, you're not addicted. It's just maybe a habit, and
Yeah.
it may be very easy for you to get out of it. Do
Yeah.
these step one, two, three, and see how you feel. Sometimes within a session, within 3 sessions, they're like, I'm feeling great because
Wow.
it was never an addiction. It was
Yes.
just something that was drilled into their mind
That
because
I am addicted.
you are addicted. Somebody's telling
Yeah.
that person that you're addicted. So, like, okay, looks like I'm addicted.
Yeah.
When something is said to us over and over and over again, we
Hmm.
start doubting ourselves.
Right.
We start believing what is being told to us.
Yeah. Similarly, how do we detect that a person is addicted? Like I said, a person may take long hours in the bathroom, not necessarily mean that he's watching porn only, right? But then
Exactly.
this is the kind of conception that people have got. So, what are the various indicators and how does one find out?
One, I don't think you need to find out what they're doing in the bathrooms to begin with. I
Yeah.
think what you need to focus on is,
How the
am
relationship.
I, how the relationship is.
Yes.
If you doubt something,
Yeah.
go ask, are
Right.
you okay? And don't ask that, are you watching porn inside? That's not what you need to ask. You
Yes.
need to ask in bed when you are together, when you're intimate with your partner,
Right.
would you like, how would you like it? Would you want to try something new? Are you happy? May I do this? There are so many simpler ways of finding out, is everything okay between the relationship?
Yes.
But most of the times, the partner may lie and say everything is okay when
Yeah.
things might not be okay, because
Right.
there are a million other things that can happen if the partner is truthful. So I think this whole idea of two people being together, the communication is important, being truthful is important, not reacting is important, listening is important, taking that pause and figuring things out is important, knowing
It's
there is a
okay. Give some
problem.
time. Absolutely. It is not going anywhere.
Everything. See,
Absolutely.
there is no life without problems. I mean, I think
Exactly.
it's high time people understand life cannot be just one way, happy way. It cannot be. You're going to
Yeah.
get bored of happiness. There
Exactly.
has to be an equal amount of sadness, or maybe a little more, where you start valuing happiness. Not that I'm advocating either. I'm just saying
Yeah.
something as something to understand. It's
Absolutely.
okay.
There are ups
So
and downs in life. We all the time talk about it, but then when it happens, we don't realize it. And also, we
exactly.
need to understand that sometimes what happens in one area of life can also influence the other area. So sometimes in your business, you're not doing well, or there are debts to be paid, or career is not going well, or if you're being
Yes.
abused in the office, then you don't know
Yes.
how to express it. Those stresses also come out like this.
Exactly. So, sex can be used for multiple reasons, not just addicted to orgasm. It could be
Yes.
a coping mechanism, it could be a healing mechanism, it could be confidence building mechanism, it could be anything.
Anything.
So,
Exactly.
if you start seeing sex as, oh, you're sexual and oh, you're having sex and we are having sex, okay? I mean, India is the second populous country. I don't need to say anything more about us. But at
Right.
the end of it, don't see sex as only a perversion.
Yeah.
Sex is
Absolutely.
way more pious than
Yes,
that,
absolutely.
way more sacred, way more intense and deep. And it can either build you or crash you to no levels. But
Absolutely.
you need to be educated about it to understand which path you need to take.
Yes.
We start using terminology very loosely, like depression and addiction, because we've
Absolutely.
been told if somebody does this more than so
One
many
day you
times, it's
feel sad,
addiction.
then you're called depressed.
Exactly. And trust me, this younger generation is using depression and addiction
So
as a
loosely.
very loosely, very
Yeah,
loosely. It's
absolutely.
very difficult for us as mental health, educators and counselors, where we actually need to find out, are you depressed?
Yeah.
We have to use our skills
Everybody
to
easily says, yes, I'm depressed. Most of the people say, yes, I'm depressed. That's the thing. And they say you are only not willing to accept it.
yeah. We've got the vocabulary, we don't know how to use it.
How to use it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's like you have the Brahmastra and you don't know where to use it.
Exactly. Yes, yes, yes.
And uh, Okay, that is in the case of a partner, the spouse can talk and find out. But what if it is parents of young people? If they are addicted and they don't know how to tell their parents, they're not seeking out treatment. And is there a way parents can find out? Because some many parents are worried about it.
No, I don't think there is any foolproof way to find out. It's just guesswork at the end of the day. Either yes, there are some symptoms that you can look into. It
Mm.
could be an addiction, but it may not be an addiction. It may be a completely different, problem
Mental,
altogether.
yeah.
Yeah, so some, like for example, as you mentioned, when the husband is in the washroom for like 20 minutes, 25 minutes, everybody is like, I know you're watching porn inside. I know you're masturbating inside. Trust me, sometimes they're just there for the quiet,
Yeah, exactly.
just to read their
People like to
newspaper so
read
that
there. They
nobody
sometimes they
interrupts
just sit
them.
and read newspaper there, or watching something else on the YouTube also.
Exactly, exactly. So I think there is no foolproof way for a parent or a partner to say, I know you're addicted. You will never know.
Mm.
The person who is going through it has to feel I'm addicted or
Yeah.
has to somewhere realize I need help.
Yes.
People who are addicted also
It
say I'm
comes
not
from,
addicted.
yeah. Sometimes people who say they are addicted are not addicted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So only, so it is like, I know I got fever because I have the cold. But
Yeah.
who knows, you might have fever because of some other infection.
Could be.
So unless you don't go to the expert and figure it out,
Yes.
you cannot say foolproof. And even with the expert, there are chances of errors and misdiagnosis, and
Exactly.
we are
And people
humans
like
at
to
the
go
end
to
of
the
the day.
Google doctor first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
So I wish Google was one organization or one entity where you can trust. Google is a platform where everybody wants
everyone
to put
pulls
in
in,
their
right?
understanding.
Yes.
So how do you know what to believe and what not to believe?
Not to believe.
Right?
Exactly.
So I think one comment that I read here is doing something and seeing something is altogether a different thing. That's one that's flashing here. And I so understand where this person is coming from. And I believe and I understand what you're doing and
Yeah.
what you might have seen or said or whatever it may be. They
Yeah.
can be completely two different things. So I think nobody should judge anybody and point out and say, I know you're addicted. You will never know. You will
Yeah.
never know. You can guess, you can
Yes.
doubt, you may
Yeah.
be right, but
Yeah.
you cannot say that I know and you don't.
Right, exactly. It is for the person to understand that this is hindering his own, say, ambition, his own plans. He's not able to focus on things. He's feeling unhappy after having done it. That is what is going to tell him that he is addicted.
Yes,
He's not.
yes.
He's here. This person has written, I did not know that there is something called as porn addiction. He says
There's
there are
porn
people.
addiction, there's sex addiction, there are so many different addiction.
Yeah.
Addiction is nothing but excess of something, um, excess of
Yeah.
anything is
Anything
addiction.
is
As simple
addiction.
as
Like
that.
even
Shopping
food, right?
addiction, you told me. Now, who understands shopping addiction? So if shopping can have an addiction, I
Yeah.
mean, it could be any
That's the
addiction.
thing. People call it therapy also, and then it becomes addiction also. Can
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
imagine this
People are
retail
addicted to
therapy?
therapy also, by the way.
Yeah, it's called as retail therapy, and at the same time, it becomes an addiction. So
Yeah, yeah.
that is the thing. Like, so how does excessive? Say, I know of people who spend a lot of money on porn sites or buying sex toys, and so how does this addiction harm personal, professional growth, family? Um, Relationships, etc. Can we discuss that? So that,
Yeah.
yeah, that
So
also is
one,
an indicator for people to realize if it is affecting, then I need to look into this.
yes, I think the biggest reason is lack of education.
Mhm.
I don't say it because I'm an educator, but it is genuinely because of lack of understanding about pornography.
Yeah,
It's just we are a nation who has a lot of sex for procreation, but from the satisfaction point of view or from the emotional, mental, spiritual point of view, we are starved. We are sex starved. Okay, after two children, three children, if you are in a relationship where most of the women will say that enough, done, over, I've got my children, I'm closed now, and men are starved. There are women who are starved. I have so many clients who call up, and these are women from all walks of life. Okay,
yeah,
not just working women. They could be housewives, they could be
yeah,
young girls. They all say that I have a partner, but he's not interested in sex.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the drive at all. He tells me that I would love to give it to you, but I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
So, lack of education, I mean, people can't
Sometimes
believe.
so much of work pressure, and all the days they just want to
Yeah,
come home and sleep.
there are
That is
multiple reasons, and one of the
reasons.
biggest reasons which people are not aware of, which again I'm saying lack of education means knowing that okay, it could be a phase, they may
Yeah.
be stressed, maybe they are tired today, or maybe
Yeah.
they are just asexual.
Yeah.
They just don't have the sexual energy, they don't feel attracted. Their
Absolutely.
body may respond to the sexual activity, but they
Yeah.
don't feel that arousal. So
Urge.
there are
That urge
different
is
things,
not there.
urge.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out at the end of the day of what is going on, right?
Yeah.
So I think the first thing what we need is to figure out where it is coming from.
Yeah.
What do I need to do about it?
Yeah.
As a partner, do I need to do something? Does a relationship need something? I, as a parent, can I help my child? Now, there are certain limitations to every relationship we have, right?
Right.
So I think it's just a matter of education to
Yeah. It's easier
begin
if
with.
you have a spouse than to talk to parents may be difficult for most people.
Absolutely.
Similarly, to talk to children also may be difficult, but with spouse, with
It's
friends,
difficult because again we don't have the vocabulary, we don't know how to talk
exactly.
about it.
Yeah, exactly. That
So
is
that's
the
what
thing.
we do, right? That's what particularly I do is I help you start talking about it.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can never give you a script to talk about it, but
Yeah.
I can teach you how to begin a conversation, how to
Right.
lead a conversation, how to
Yeah.
be truthful in a conversation, how to question your children, how to
Yeah.
question your partner without making them feel any awkward or offensive. So that is what is needed. The skill is needed to communicate. And
Absolutely.
from there, how to go about it and how to go further in that relationship is all you need to figure out.
Yeah. Now, let's assume that there is a person who is very seriously addicted. Either he's watching porn or whatever. So, some sexual addiction is there. In which case, how does it affect him financially, personally? How does this impact
Right.
relationships?
Right. I think that was your question earlier, and we kind of drifted to
Yeah,
other
that
topics.
happens.
But
Yes, it happens all the time.
um, how it affects could be again in multiple ways. Either this person can completely withdraw from the family, they
Mhm.
will not talk, they will not interact, they will want to be in their own space, they will take time away again and again. They'll want to go back to watching pornography and whatever is happening along with it. Sometimes it could be just watching pornography. Sometimes it could be sexual activity followed by watching pornography. Sometimes it could be involving somebody else after watching that pornography. So, whatever it is. So,
Yeah,
this
most of
person
the people
may,
I've heard that they are not, once they watch pornography, they want to go to the next level. So that is when
yes, okay, I lost you again. Oh.
personal and professional growth, and how does it harm relationships?
So I lost you in between, but again, I'm just going back to how it's
Yes.
affecting people in different ways.
Yeah.
So, one, emotionally and mentally, they are going away from their family,
Yeah.
and the family doesn't understand why this person is not there for us.
Yeah.
So if the relationships, so one way is I don't know what has happened to my family member and what's going on, but I cannot connect with them anymore. So that builds the frustration and the anger and the disconnect. And oh, if you don't want to talk, I don't want to talk. You don't want to touch me, I don't want to touch you. How many times am I going to come to you? You want to go into the bathroom and do it? Go do it. I'm not available for you. So multiple ways. Again, interpersonal relationship can become a problem between spouses. Like,
Absolutely.
I am right here for you. Why do you need to go and watch porn?
Yeah.
Am I not enough for you? This is a very common question.
Absolutely.
Am I not enough for you that you need to go and see somebody else having, making love or having sex? So that
And there are
hurts
men who
somebody's
are
ego.
constantly sexting. That there are sites, it seems, that are available where there will be a man or a woman who will text you or talk with you, and then people are just
All kinds of things are happening, all kinds. And how much are you going to keep away from your family members? Somewhere or the other, it's going to surface. Your
yeah,
family members are going to find out what's happening
find
in your
out.
life, and that
Yes.
affects big time.
Yeah.
Financially, it can affect you where you may not be able to focus on your work. You constantly want to go and watch pornography, you want to go have sex, you're constantly feeling the urge where you need to focus and be creative in your work.
Yeah.
You leave that, you don't focus on it, you
Yes.
don't implement what you need to do, you don't go through the tasks you need to do, you don't meet the goals you've set for yourself. How the income is going to come back to you? It is
Exactly.
going to affect you financially. A lot of people are spending a lot of money, whether it's sex workers or sites like these. Nothing is wrong to the extent where, see, sex workers is banned here in our culture. Some other place it is legal and it is a profession. I have, mm, I'm very neutral to any kind of profession. All right. I am a person who talks about body, who talks about positivity. So if
Yeah.
somebody wants to sell their body and earn, it's their business, not mine at the end of the day. But where
Yeah,
I'm
but it
coming
is
to is
as far as the married couple is concerned, they have to have an understanding about it, right? If
you
you are
just have to be mindful of what are you doing, how it
exactly
is affecting you, and how it is affecting all
their
the
relation,
your
other
life. Let me put it that way. Okay, if your interpersonal relationships are becoming bad, if you are not able to be the breadwinner of the house that
yeah,
you've been, and maybe other people are dependent on you, then somewhere you need help.
yeah. And
You
not only
can't
that, when
focus.
you're not there for, say, for example, on an important day for the child, for a marriage, or for some important
So usually
graduation. Yeah,
porn
exactly.
addiction doesn't take too much time. It's not
Yeah,
like you drink alcohol and then you're sleeping for 12 hours. Porn
yeah.
addiction is not like that, right?
No, but then
You just need
because
to
of that
watch
obsession, the
pornography.
person is not available for the family, not even for conversation.
It could be, yes,
Yeah,
emotionally, there could be a problem.
yeah,
Physically, usually it is between the spouses where
yes,
the spouse kind of feels, am I not enough for you?
enough.
So
Yeah,
then there are rifts, then there are emotional burdens, then there's blaming, then there's pointing fingers. So rather than understanding what's happening and what can be done about it, it's
yeah.
more about how do we now keep pushing each other away from it.
Away.
So,
Yeah,
yes. So work in the workspace, it can so happen that you might just want to model of what you watched
yeah.
either with your colleagues or with your friends or with your spouse.
And
So
it gets
somewhere that also
anytime you
can be,
rank, and then your reputation
oh,
is spoiled.
huge,
Absolutely huge. It is the
absolutely
cost is
huge,
so huge.
huge.
I
So the
also
sexual
heard of an
harassment
organization
policies.
where somebody had sent something like this within the organization without realizing that it is being monitored, and then the person was caught. Somebody who was in a very high position. So
So whether monitored or not, if we don't
internet,
have the
yeah,
basic ethics and mannerism,
yeah, that is for you to
understanding.
absolutely. But then he was caught, and then that is when everybody in the family came to know about it. But he has been going through that for a long time, and then
Long
the
time.
entire organization came to know. He lost his job, uh, lost his face, he went through a divorce, so many
So
things.
similarly, now this is loss of finance, right?
Yeah,
When you lose a job,
yeah,
and on this parameter, who's going to give you the next job?
exactly.
So
Yeah,
yes, it is not just financially, it is not just emotionally, it is not just between interpersonal relationships. In many different ways, it affects a person's life.
yeah,
um, at the end of it, let me tell you this: anything that is above what you can control, what does
yeah.
not stay in your control, should not be entertained in your life.
Absolutely. So,
Should not be.
when a person cannot self regulate, okay, when he knows that, okay, this, I'm not able to control this, and even though I am not happy doing it, but I am compelled to do it. So, how can people who are most affected by it help the person handle the situation? Can they bring him to a therapist, or how do they themselves first talk to him about it? How do they go about it? This is a question that
So
they ask.
yeah, so my request would be, if you don't know about the topic, please don't educate anybody. So
Yeah.
as family members, we feel so responsible that
Concerned.
I am supposed to be helping this person. So we go about, you're addicted, you should not watch. Dude, they can't stop watching. That's the problem. So by
Problem,
you
exactly.
saying don't watch, it's
Yeah,
not going to stop. So one, definitely it is therapy,
yeah,
counseling sessions. That
yeah,
is the best thing to do because it's
yeah.
very fast. the
Yes,
the counselor is equipped and skilled and is knowledgeable to figure out your triggers, Understand where it's rooted. See, at the end of it, we don't believe in putting band-aids. Okay,
Yeah.
you're addicted. Ye kar lo, step one,
The
step two,
root
step
cause,
three. We
right?
don't believe in that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We go deeper into your understanding, deeper into your habits, deeper into your childhood, deeper into your traumas to understand what are you trying to fill by
Yeah.
doing so, right? What are you
Exactly.
trying to heal by
Yeah.
doing so? What are you trying to cope by doing so? Once we know your root cause, we treat the root cause.
Exactly.
We don't put band-aids, but yes, we
Yes.
start with band-aids.
Yeah.
We start with
But
asking you
immediately
what
there
are
is,
your triggers.
yeah.
As simple as what app do you watch the porn on? So this is for everybody who's listening here today. If you're watching if you're watching pornography on YouTube, uninstall YouTube. If you're watching pornography through direct websites, put controls over it. Put parental controls if you need to, because
Mm.
it's affecting you at the end of the day. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be fulfilled. You deserve to be loved. You don't deserve to be an addict.
Yeah.
You don't need that in your life. So you do what you need to do. And the best thing is to, of course, the other than the therapy and the counseling sessions and somebody to help you out, have an accountability partner,
Yeah.
somebody who you can trust, somebody who does not judge you for what you're going through,
Mm.
somebody who accepts you no matter what you're going through, and somebody who can hold your collar and say, you agreed on not watching, what's happening, where can I help?
Yeah.
So somebody who's like, I uninstall YouTube and then when the urge comes, I reinstall it.
Yeah.
But once you're done with it, do you have the guts? Do you have this person who you can call and say, you know what, I stumbled.
Yeah.
I'm here to just confess I stumbled. And
Yeah.
that other person on the line says, I got it. Do you
Yeah.
need me to help you? Do you want to put more stricter barriers so that
Right.
you cannot go to these sites at all?
Yeah. So how to
So you
create
need
boundaries and keep the boundaries.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
So
you need to understand what your triggers are. You need to put a stop on it, and you need all of this in physicality. You need to have somebody to stand by your side and say, "Hey, listen, you're falling into that pit again. Come, I'll pull you. Come, I'll hold you. Come, I'll support you." So somebody who's non-judgmental, somebody who accepts but won't let you fall into that pit. And of course, then there is therapy which cannot be replaced. I think all of us, just like we have our family doctors for physical ailments, we
yeah.
should have a counselor as a family counselor who understands what's happening in the family and
Mm.
can, kind of like help all of us together at the same time. Like any one person going through something, the whole family is going through it.
Wow.
So yeah.
I know it is like that, that people don't understand. They think nobody is an island. We are all living together. So it is going to affect a person's unhappiness is definitely going to be felt. Even if you don't share it, the other person is going to feel it. The energy, the vibrations around tell the people.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So you
Absolutely.
can't hide it. So what kind of treatments are available? Counseling, you said the counseling is available. It's very quick. But what people think is, oh, counseling will take ages. It'll drain my complete money. But whatever you're draining, even if you don't share it, the other person will feel it. So what kind of treatments are available?
Losing you again. I don't know what you're saying. Okay.
The internet has been acting funny. Yeah, internet has been acting funny. So yes. So I just wanted to know what kind of treatments are available, counseling is available, and where do people need to look for it?
I think the therapy definitely is the first choice. I will always say that
Mm,
because sex addiction is more mental and emotional than physical a problem.
mm,
So therapy. Otherwise, if there is any other issues, we do ask our clients to go and physically examine themselves first,
okay.
but not for addiction.
Yeah.
Addiction is definitely more about emotions and mental stability.
Yeah.
So therapy is one thing. Sometimes because of some other reasons, because of some other issues and problems. Maybe it could be physical, maybe it could be hormonal. Then, yes,
Then
we
drugs are
do
given,
make sure,
medicines are given.
yes. So we
Okay.
make sure that you are not only coming for sessions, but you've also got yourself tested. The physical doctors, the MBBS
Yeah.
doctors or the sexologists are also checking you out. So
Okay.
it is never a one way treatment, it is medicines, it's a holistic healing at the end of the day. So yeah, so there are no rehab centers particularly, at least not that I know of, for sex addiction or pornography addiction. But yes, we are a lot many people who can help you come out of this addiction. So
Mhm.
no rehab centers particularly. Definitely, I don't know about it.
Okay.
Maybe it's a good idea to look for them if there are any.
Yeah.
But counseling sessions
They're
and
available in
physical
US, but
examination.
I don't think they're available in India.
Yeah, I'm not definitely
Yeah.
not in India,
Right.
but there will be people who will be able to help you
Able to
out. You just
counsel
need to
and help
start
you.
wanting it. You need
Right.
to, and don't stop. Okay, sometimes some people say, I went to this doctor, the doctor gave me this much, but it didn't stop. Now what do I do? It's
Yeah,
not in
you
my
can't
hand.
just immediately find a miraculous cure.
Don't just
It's not
stop
true.
at the first door.
Yeah.
If you have to knock the 10th door, knock it. If you have to knock the 140th door, knock it. If you have to knock the 1000th door, knock.
Do it. Yeah,
Keep
absolutely.
knocking till somebody says, I am helping you, and the help helps you, basically.
Absolutely.
Don't stop knocking.
Your life is worth it. Your life is invaluable, and so you need to do
Absolutely.
it. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Very, very true. So when a person gets addicted like this, and then he finds that he is out of it, the kind of satisfaction, you must be having so many patients who have gone through similar things. Probably you can share some experiences, or without, of course, sharing the identity or all the details, how they have felt after or during the course of the treatment, the turmoil that they went through. Can you share one or two experiences?
Absolutely, surely. So I think the one that's coming to my mind right now is one client from South India had connected and was porn addicted, and so he's not married. He does not have any relationship. He's a single person, but because of porn addiction, there's a lot of masturbation, and he started feeling very down. He
Okay.
started feeling very empty inside, that I have nothing, but I just keep ejaculating.
Okay.
These are his words, I just keep ejaculating. I just keep wanting orgasms. But even after orgasms, I'm not feeling happy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just addicted to porn. I can't just let go of it. I've deleted my apps. He did a few things, but he's like, it just doesn't go. So once we inquired of what's happening and once we understood the case, it all started after his mom expired.
Oh,
And his mom was the only social connect he had. Families were not close, so no uncles, no aunties, no family gatherings.
yeah.
See,
Nobody
we
to talk with.
humans, nobody to talk to. So whatever he did was what his mom told him to do. At the age of 41, he finally, because he must have seen these kind of,
Yeah.
talks and my social media, posts
Post or
and
something.
everything. He's like, let me try and see if something can happen about it. And he was just not ready to go out and be social. He
And he
was
was
so
not looking for
happy
a
and
stable
content.
relationship also.
No, zero, no
Okay.
cousins, no family, nobody.
Okay.
Mother didn't get along with a lot of people, but mother was very cheerful.
Yeah.
So we had to go back to understand where the problem was, where it started, and all of it, how the childhood experiences were with sex and sexuality, and then kind of like bind all, join all the dots and everything. And finally, the idea was, you know what? I don't know how long it'll take for you to get out of the addiction, but how about starting to make some sense out of your life? Because he was
Find some
so
purpose in
desperate.
your life.
"Ab bhi hona chahiye, ab bhi hona chahiye, it should happen now." I had to distract him from there to something else. And I said, why not have something? So there was a wedding coming up in his family, and he was invited for this wedding. I said, you know what? There's an opening, there's a sign from the universe. Why don't you go for this wedding? Just go for 15 minutes and walk out. But go for those 15 minutes and say hello to one person. And that person went there and stayed for 3 hours. I hope this internet is not chopping this case off. But
Yeah.
after 3 hours of staying there, I told him go only for 15 minutes, and he
Yeah.
stayed there for 3 hours. And he's like, I didn't know it was so easy. I think sometimes you just need somebody else to tell you,
Push
go
you.
do
Yeah.
it. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
just and somebody to say it's okay if you're there for 15 minutes, go
Yeah.
for 15 minutes, come back.
Yeah.
That acceptance of me not being okay socially, and I'm awkward socially, and I said it's
It's
okay.
okay. Yeah.
I accept you the way you are. I get you. I'm listening to you. So you know what? Because you want some purpose, some relationships, why don't you start by 15 minutes? And then staying 3 hours, it's a huge jump for me as a counselor. So
Yeah.
from 15, I wanted to go to half an hour, and I'm happy with three. I have nothing. I have to now see another course of action. So
Actions. Yeah.
so this
To help
person,
him find purpose in life and move on.
yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
sometimes just some validation, sometimes just some acceptance, somebody to say, you know what, it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to do what I tell you to do, just go do something that you need to do.
Yeah.
And life can be so amazing. That
Yeah.
person took only 3 sessions. And
Wow.
within 3 sessions, that person said, you know what, I've not gone back to it. So
Wow.
we do they do follow up. We do tell them to follow up once a month.
Uh-huh.
Then slowly we wean them off. But
Yeah.
we do ask them to follow up, and we are always available if it ever they go back to it, or something
Yeah.
happens again, something triggers again. And because we know the history, it's easy for us to kind of find out and say,
Yeah.
okay, something like this has happened, and then maybe you just need to shift a little bit. So
Absolutely.
yeah, this case was brilliant because one, it just cropped from something so different. He was just trying to fill the void,
Void
the
and
loss of that, mother,
heart
the
wrenching.
support, the love, the only source of love he had.
Yeah.
So he just needed to find another source and know that you're loved any which ways. Not by this person, then by this person and this person. There's always somebody who's going to love you.
Yeah.
Freaking billion
But be
people we
open.
have.
Yeah, absolutely. Be open to it, to receive. First of all, if you're not like
Simple.
this, then what is the problem,
Simple.
right? If we
Simple.
are
Simple.
keeping our hands down, then how can we receive ever? Right.
So me and you will understand it's all a game of belief, right?
Yeah,
But how
absolutely.
do we make the people who don't know this language to understand that it's just a belief system? That believe and it's going to happen any which ways. But
Yeah.
yeah, we give them the steps. We
Yes.
help them to see what they can believe in or what do they believe in, and
Yeah.
then pave a
Slowly
path
move
from
them
there.
towards, yes, healthy beliefs.
So that
Absolutely.
could be my starting point. It doesn't have to be the point I thought of. It's never
Yes.
about us, right? It's always about the
Always
client.
about the client. Yeah, very true. Very true. That is a marvelous story to end it with, because I wanted to hear that there has been transformation. I
Oh
just
yeah.
read a poem. I just wanted to close with it. Usually there is some poem about that addiction, an addict who has gone through that. So here is some Alexis who has written about this addiction that he has felt, he has gone through. So he says, from my traumas was born a feeling, a desire that came way too early. Curiosity introduced pleasure, and once it was found, control was beyond measure.
Hmm.
I told you I was so young that I hadn't even shaved, yet I was touching myself under my desk back in the third grade, wanting the attention of a boy, wanting to be wanted to feel loved and enjoyed. Progression through time had me messaging all these guys. They wanted me and they wanted that, and as time went by, messages turned to descriptions, and those turned into pictures. The guys turned into men, and there were so many of them. I don't know if I love to please or if I just love them wanting me, but I have to do it and I can't control it. Who has been through this? Who has really known it? Abuse made it worse because I wanted to be loved. Abuse made
Hmm.
it worse because I wanted to be loved. First time having that was the first hit of my drug. I couldn't stop there. I had to have more. Didn't wait their time. I really just wanted to score. Like I had no respect or I had no beliefs. Just giving myself to the people who deeply attracted me. I would get aroused looking at someone and my mind would begin to imagine. And then I would go and do it. Was the next day and I would think sex is my addiction. You'd think I want to quit, but I don't. It is a problem. It really is. It's dangerous, and I know, but I can't help myself and I can't get enough. So I wa- I saw so many people talking about it and feeling so sad about that feeling, that there are all around them people and they don't connect with them. And they see
Yeah,
other people having good lives, sitting with their wives, watching movies, sitting with their children, having a good game, and they are not able to have any of that. And then they realize that I'm not what I want to be.
truly, truly. That was a
So,
very brilliantly written. The truth was out there.
yes,
So many things this person has penned down in that
yeah,
small, piece that they've written.
yes, absolutely.
Because something that struck me again, which we do a lot with kids and their parents, is just love your children no matter what. Because
Exactly.
this lack of love has created so many disasters, so
Absolutely.
many different
Don't
ways
put
of
ifs
seeking
and
that
buts and
love.
conditions there. Anybody,
Sorry?
if you don't put ifs and buts and conditions there. For example, if my child is not so brilliant, his child is brilliant, but a brilliant child, the whole world is there to love you. But to
Yeah.
love your child the way he is, only a parent can do, right?
Only at least you do it if nobody
Yeah,
else. So it's more about understanding that different people are different.
yeah,
Just love, just give people your love no matter
absolutely.
what. You
Yeah,
can be upset with people, you can have expectations with people, but
yeah,
just love people. Let
yes,
them know that you love them, respect
yes,
them,
yeah.
understand them, give them a listening ear. It's not so tough. Loving
Yeah,
is
if
not
the
tough,
child
you know
tells
that.
me that, okay, you are not Elon Musk, you haven't earned so much, what am I going to do? The child has learned to accept me as a parent the way I am, whoever I
Exactly.
am. So,
Exactly. So
yeah,
why not the other way around? And I
exactly.
think most of us do have the lack of love in us,
Yeah,
where we've not been taught to love ourselves. So one, there's nobody else who's loving us, and
yeah,
then we also don't love ourselves. So we
yeah.
are constantly in seeking,
Feel
the love.
low about yourself. You feel
And
you
and that
undermine yourself.
yes, and this love comes to us in so many different forms, and
Yeah,
one of them is abuse.
correct. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's such a vicious circle. It's such a
It's a
vicious
wish.
circle.
That is what. So when you want more of it and then you go to unknown people, then there is abuse, there is a lot kind of, it gets into
Because
crimes.
physical touch is also a form of love.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I'm not
Yes.
getting love from
Other
my
person,
home,
yeah. It is,
anybody who loves me, I'm
yeah,
yours.
yes.
We are
And then
creatures of love. We
there
need
are no
love.
boundaries where it goes in,
There's
you never know.
no, not with the young
Who
ones.
we are reaching out to, you don't know who the other
No,
person is. He's a predator and you may not know it.
we don't know.
We don't know.
And by
Exactly.
the time we know, it's too late.
Too late. Too late. Exactly. It was very, very fulfilling and so very, I, lot of many things were eye openers. I'm sure that a lot of people would have gained insights about relationships and not look down or be judgmental about people for their habits. Be ready to accept them with their limitations. We may have something which we may not have yet diagnosed. It's okay, right? And just because we look normal or we,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So that doesn't mean that the other person is not normal. Who decides that?
Yeah.
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 Thank you so much. There was internet disruption, but I'm very happy that we were able to connect.
You see that, and there is disruption right away. I hope they can see the whole episode. I'm sure you're saying the same thing.
I'm sure that has come on the screen. Yes, thank you for coming on your holiday and then honoring this invitation. Thanks a lot. I'm sure that I will get back to you again. Looking
Thank
forward
you
to
so
such
much.
conversations. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you once again. Good
Bye.
night, everyone. Bye bye.